Namaskar. A very warm welcome to the 5th episode of Grantha Yatra. Today we shall get acquainted with Bhavartha Ramayan, written by Saint Eknath in the 16th century. Don't you think some things in life change at a breathtaking pace? Look at how things have unfolded over the past few months. At the beginning of the year, say in January, did any of us even dream that in a few days we would all be confined to our respective homes? That offices, schools, and shopping malls will be shut down, that all travel will come to a halt. At times, things change fast before our very eyes. At other times, some things get lost more slowly but steadily. They get obliterated from public memory. In the first 3 episodes of Grantha Yatra, we saw the splendor of books written in Marathi in the 13th century. Texts such as Jnaneshwari, Leela-Charitra, and Namdevanchi Abhangavani led to Marathi literature gaining its own independent existence. It was enriched with prolific poetic creations. We saw how these texts unlocked the knowledge contained in the Vedanta and Bhagavad Gita through the use of contemporary language, how they opened the path of bhakti or devotion as a means of spiritual practice. These texts prepared a solid foundation for Marathi literature. However, as time passed, the circumstances changed. The land of Maharashtra came to be ruled by foreign powers and it lost the prosperity it had enjoyed under the Yadava rule. The society got divided into numerous classes and castes. Marathi language, Marathi culture, and the Marathi way of life got diluted under foreign influence. Superstition, meaningless rituals, and animal sacrifices, charlatan priests and egoist Brahmins proliferated, and the common man was deprived of true knowledge. The capacity to protect their land and culture was lost in the absence of social unity. Under these circumstances, in the year 1533, Saint Eknath was born in a virtuous family at Paithan. Bhanudas, who was famous for bringing the idol of Lord Vitthal back to Pandharpur after it had been taken away by Krishnadev Rai to Vijayanagar, was Eknath's great-grandfather. Being brought up in the family that was immersed in the Bhakti cult, Eknath got interested in spirituality early in his life. After completing his basic education at the age of 12, Eknath became a disciple of the accomplished seer Janardhan Swami, who also happened to be the presiding officer of the fort of Devgiri. Eknath spent 6 years living with his guru and mastered the Vedas, Upanishads, the Yoga Sutra, the Puranas, Bhagavad Gita, and Jnaneshwari. Under the guidance of Janardhan Swami, he spent long periods in meditation on secluded mountains. While following these spiritual practices, he also learned the art of administration, accountancy, swordsmanship, and even led the fort's army in a battle. Life in different historical periods has its own different parameters. With the onset of coronavirus and the resulting lockdowns, we have begun to define the new normal or a new way of life. In the 16th century, although it was not the common practice, it was not abnormal for a 12-year-old to set out in the search of a spiritual teacher, to acquire knowledge while serving the Guru, to meditate and to visit holy places. Eknath was a brilliant pupil. Encouraged by his Guru Janardhan Swami, he wrote a treatise on 4 verses of Bhagavad Puran, which are considered to be its essence. This treatise proved to be a shining example of the great body of literary work that Eknath would create in his future life. On the advice of his Guru, Eknath then embarked on a 7-year pilgrimage to various holy places in India and at the age of 25 married and settled down as a household. This new phase in his life coincided with his literary journey. In the 66 years of his life, Eknath created a huge and varied body of literary works. For the educated and discerning readers, he wrote treatises on Sanskrit texts. For the middle class, he wrote narrative poetry and abhangas. And for the general masses, he wrote in the folk style of Bharud, Gauran, Zogwa, and Gondhar. In all, he wrote 75,000 verses. The credit for reviving the tradition of Bhakti poetry in Maharashtra, which had waned in the almost 3 centuries after Jnaneshwar and Namdev, goes to Eknath. His poetry and philosophy was greatly influenced by Dnyaneshwar, whose works he had studied in depth. In the intervening years, too many errors and interpolations had crept into Dnyaneshwari as the great text was handed down through numerous handwritten copies. Dnyaneshwar's Samadhi had also been neglected and forgotten. Eknath not only carried out the restoration work on the Samadhi but also edited and restored the true copy of Dnyaneshwari through meticulous research. And thus, he is also credited to be the first editor in Marathi. All his poetic work and his life itself set an excellent example for revitalizing the society. Through his actions and through his poetry, Eknath preached bhakti, equality, and morality on the backdrop of the ignorance, poverty, and depletion of cultural values in the contemporary society. His acts of picking up a lost, untouchable child in his arms and taking him to his home, feeding the untouchables during a feast at his home despite a boycott by Brahmins, offering holy water to a thirsty donkey are well known and were considered revolutionary in those times. Towards the end of a life of creative brilliance and personal integrity, Eknath began the composition of Bhavartha Ramayana. In this text, he reveals that Lord Ram himself inspired him to write this epic poem. तू कैसा झालासी वक्ता पुसाल माझी योग्यता तेही मी सांगेन तत्वता सावध श्रोता परिसावी. Who am I to narrate this auspicious tale, you may ask? Let me tell you, listen carefully. I hardly know the original Sanskrit text, and I am just a fool, but it is Lord Ram who makes this fool narrate his tale. I know I am no better than a fool. I know I am not qualified to narrate the great epic of Ramayana, but it is Sri Ram who inspires me. Though I ignored this inspiration, Lord Ram appeared in my dream and narrated the entire story in detail. And then when I woke up, I saw my world illuminated by the story of Lord Ram. As I went about my daily life, my mind was occupied by nothing but the story of Ramayana. And as Lord Ram pursued me, and yet I did not pay heed, my ego was dissolved into Lord Ram, and he forced me to narrate this tale. Even when I went to bed, Lord Ram tapped my shoulder and asked me to get up and write, and so who am I not to write this tale? And so neither the errors I may commit nor the success I may achieve belong to me, for it is Lord Ram who is the doer. He has taken over my identity. That is the extent to which Eknath identified with his subject matter. He referred to various versions of the Ramayana such as Adhyatma Ramayana, Krauncha Ramayana, and Ananda Ramayana to write his tale. But his originality of poetic narration, his imagination, and his desire to inspire the society to action make his Bhavartha Ramayana a delightful read. His epic tale also reintroduced Lord Ram to the Bhakti cult. Through his narrative poetry on the life of Lord Ram, Eknath gave a call to action to a society that had lost its identity in the face of foreign rule, a society that was left with no strength to oppose oppression, and a society that had no goals for a bright future. In his poetry, Eknath achieved powerful description of Lord Ram's bravery, inspirational and true depictions of war scenes, and support for fight against injustice and destruction of the wicked. This is how he describes Lord Ram before the war against Lanka. निकुंभ मारिला पराक्रमे हे देखोन या श्रीरामे कोप चढला क्षात्रधर्मे पुरुषानुक्रमे बोलत. Watching the mighty battle that killed Nikumbha, Lord Ram was inspired like a true Kshatriya, with justified anger befitting his dharma. He said with valor, "We haven't started this war to get rid of such minor irritants. I have picked up my bow to annihilate the Lord of Lanka." Shri Ram was raring to defeat Ravan, and his arms were pulsating with vigor. His bow and arrow were set, and as he pulled the bowstring and jumped in the war against Ravan, all three classes came to witness the occasion. With such passage of bravery, Eknath set the stage for the independence movement of the early 17th century. Within a few years of the completion of Bhavartha Ramayana, King Shivaji raised the flag of independence in Maharashtra. Through his descriptions of Ram and Lakshman, Eknath propagates the philosophy that one must stand up to every act of injustice, that the oppressors must be dealt with firmly, that one must be strong enough to fight against injustice, but at the same time, one must adhere to modesty and truth. See how he describes a valiant yet calm demeanor of Lakshman when fighting Indrajit. Indrajit roared and wounded Lakshman with 7 arrows. He badly hurt Hanuman with 10 arrows. He set to kill Bibhishan with great hatred in his belly. He set hundreds of arrows to kill him. Lakshman saw Indrajit's arrows coming, and to protect Bibhishan, he broke them all mid-air. Not only did he pierce Indrajit's arrows, but also his arrogance. He would not say a word by mouth. Such was the calm demeanor of Lakshman at the battle. Since Bibhishan was under his protection, if anyone would dare to touch him, he would have been annihilated by an alert Lakshman. Eknath promotes the power of unity through descriptions of the army of the apes. He promotes shining valor and skillful leadership by describing Lord Ram's actions on the battlefield. Similarly, he seems to have based his descriptions of the demons on the contemporary foreign invaders. The bearded demons who consume meat and liquor and disrupt auspicious events like the fire sacrifice represent alien culture. Let us hear from Professor Sunita Langde about the similarities and differences between Bhavartha Ramayana and its contemporary Ramayana written by Tulsidas.
महाराष्ट्राच्या सांस्कृतिक जडणघडणीमध्ये संतांचे विचार निश्चितच खूप मोलाचे आहेत. भक्तिमार्गाचा पुरस्कार करतानाच जीवनातली आदर्श मूल्य आणि मानवता यांची बीज त्यांनी मानवी मनावर बिंबवली. 15व्या-16व्या शतकात राजकीय आक्रमणांमुळे महाराष्ट्रातल्या सांस्कृतिक जीवनाला एक अवकाळच आली होती. मूर्तीभंजन, अत्याचार, सत्ता स्पर्धा, हेवे दावे या सर्वात सामान्य माणूस नागवला जात होता. सामाजिक स्तरावर धर्माचं प्राबल्य असलं तरी एकूण समाजाच्या धर्मविषयक जाणीवा मात्र विकृत बनल्या होत्या. अशा समाजाला त्याच्या मानसिक अवनतीतून बाहेर काढण्याची जबाबदारी नाथांनी स्वतःकडे घेतली. राजकीय आक्रमणं जशी येतात तशी जातातही, पण मानसिक आक्रमणांशी संघर्ष हा दीर्घकाळचा संघर्ष असतो हे सत्य नाथांनी जाणलं होतं. त्यासाठी परकीय आक्रमणांविरुद्ध महाराष्ट्राचं समाजबन त्यांना तयार करायचं होतं, तसा स्वधर्माविषयीचा अभिमानही जागृत करायचा होता. या भावनेनंच नाथांनी भावार्थ रामायणाचं लेखन हाती घेतलं. भावार्थामध्ये भाव आणि अर्थ असे 2 शब्द आहेत. भाव म्हणजे भक्ती आणि अर्थ म्हणजे पुरुषार्थ. भावार्थ रामायणाचे 92 अध्याय असून त्याची ओवी संख्या सुमारे 40,000 इतकी आहे. नाथ निजधामास गेले. दुर्दैवाने ही कथा अपूर्ण राहिली आणि त्यानंतर कथेचा उर्वरित भाग नाथांचा शिष्य गावबा यानं लिहून पूर्ण केला. एकीकडे रामसीतेच्या प्रीतीचं वर्णन सीता सुमन, श्रीराम सुगंध, सीता बुद्धी, श्रीराम वेद अशा अद्वैतरूप शब्दात नाथ करतात, तर श्री रामेविण उदकपान ते मरणप्रद विषदारुण या उद्गारातून सीतेची पतिनिष्ठा वर्णन करून अद्वैत भक्तीचा आदर्श उभा करतात. नाथांचा राम हा परमार्थनिष्ठ, प्रकृतीप्रवण असा आहे. पुत्र, बंधू, पती, मित्र, राजा, शिष्य अशा विविध भूमिका त्यानं सम्यकपणे वठवल्या. मर्यादेचा भंग कुठेही होऊ दिला नाही. स्वधर्मनिष्ठ आणि युद्ध निपुण राजा म्हणून रामाचा लौकिक मोठा आहे. दास्य विमोचन आणि धर्मस्थापना या रामाच्या गुणांचं दर्शन नाथ इथे विशेषत्वानं घडवतात. त्यामागचा हेतू हाच की समाजानं स्वकाळाच्या संदर्भात त्यापासून प्रेरणा घ्यावी. आशयाच्या दृष्टीनं हेच खरं अध्यात्म रामायण ठरेल असं अभ्यासक संशोधकांना वाटतं, कारण यातील विचार एकसंध आहे. कथाप्रसंग, व्यक्तिचित्र, वर्णन, संवाद अशा विविधतेतूनही अध्यात्माचा धागा इथं कुशलपणे गुंफला आहे. मराठीत ग्रंथलेखन करून मराठी भाषेला नाथांनी प्रतिष्ठा प्राप्त करून दिली आणि मराठी माणसाची अस्मिता जागी केली. आपल्या विचारात उदात्त मूल्यांना प्राधान्य देऊन तत्कालीन समाजाचं भरण पोषण केलं आणि एका अर्थानं राष्ट्र कर्तृत्वाला प्रेरणा दिली. नाथ समकालीन असलेल्या तुलसीदासांनीही याच सुमारास आपलं रामायण रचलं. उत्तर हिंदुस्थानात त्याला प्रचंड लोकप्रियता मिळाली, तशी भावार्थ रामायणाला महाराष्ट्रात मिळाली. दोघांचं मूळ उद्दिष्ट एकच होतं. संस्कृत मध्ये असलेलं रामायण स्थानिक भाषेमध्ये लिहून सर्वसामान्यांसाठी ते उपलब्ध करून देणं. त्यासाठी तत्कालीन पंडित वर्गाकडून दोघांनाही टीका सोसावी लागली, पण बहुजनांनी मात्र आदरानं या ग्रंथांना डोक्यावर घेतलं. तुलसीदासांनी भक्तिरसाला अधिक महत्व दिलं. बाल आणि अयोध्या कांडावर भर दिला. तर नाथांनी श्रीरामाचं एक योद्धा आणि वीर रणनायक असं चित्रण करण्यावर अधिक भर दिला आणि युद्धाचे प्रसंग अधिक रंगवले. या जोडीला नाथांची भूमिका सामाजिक अभ्युदयाची होती. नाथांची केलेली ही कामगिरी फार मोलाची आणि शिथिल झालेल्या समाजाला मोठीच चालना देणारी ठरली. विचार आणि आचार यात जिथे संगती असते, समाजाचा विश्वास तिथेच बसतो. या दोन्हीत अंतर पडलं तर समाजाची आदर्श जीवन मूल्यांवरील श्रद्धा उडते. हे लक्षात घेऊन नाथांनी आपल्या साहित्यातील जीवन मूल्यांना आपल्या जीवनातही प्रथम स्थान दिलं. नाथांच्या अशा व्यासंगी आणि व्युत्पन्न व्यक्तिमत्वामुळं आणि भावार्थ रामायणाच्या अंगभूत गुणांमुळेच हे काव्य केवळ लोकप्रियच झालं असं नाही, तर काळ आणि दिशा यांच्या सीमारेषा पार करून आजही मराठी मनात ते स्वतःचं असं वेगळं स्थान निर्माण करून राहिलं आहे.
Ram, as depicted by Eknath, is an ideal and great human being. Eknath introduces desirable moral values such as sacrifice, duty, bhakti, and loyalty to one's faith through him. He sowed the seeds of patriotism and national pride in the common man through this epic. मोटे बांधिता आकाश ये हातास चौपालवी, आकाशाची बांधिता मोट कर्त्याचे व्यर्थ जाती कष्ट. If you try to tie the sky, all you will get is an empty bag. It is futile to even try to do that. A struggle with the words will not be able to describe Ram thoroughly, for Ram is manifest and unmanifest. Ram is the supreme soul and complete in himself. Use of metaphors and revelation of meaning at two different levels is a characteristic of Eknath's poetry. In Bhavartha Ramayan too, he uses spiritual and social metaphors. Thus, Dashrath represents the 10 senses. Kausalya is knowledge, Kaikeyi is ignorance, self-realization is Lakshman, essence of feeling is Bharat, complete bliss is Sri Ram. The power of discretion is Vishwamitra and Vasishtha is contemplation. Eknath narrates his tale through this metaphoric style. When describing Ram and Sita, he defines their unity by comparing Sita to a living being and Ram to life itself, or Sita to sugar and Ram to sweetness. Through Sita's fidelity to Ram, he alludes to the ideal of non-dualistic bhakti. Sita refuses the palanquin offered by Bibhishan when she sets out to meet Ram by saying, "Paraka pai Ram sapade tari sadhaka ka shinati bapude." If one could attain Ram by relying on others, why would seekers toil in vain? Here, Eknath conveys the message that one has to strive to attain God. His description of Hanuman's surrender to Ram is the ideal of devotion. It is important to note that even when enlightening his readers, Eknath never lets the poetic essence of the tale get affected. Love for the book should be the primary concern. The narrative should describe the ultimate truth. This is the duty of the poet and makes the readers happy. That was the goal of his writing. Picturesque descriptions and skillfully creating the background is another special aspect of Bhavartha Ramayan. Eknath recreates a scene with great flair through detailed descriptions of actions and emotional outpouring. Here's an example of the episode when Ram returns to Ayodhya after his wedding. अयोध्येत प्रवेशावया सत्वर उल्लास करी नृपवर आनंदे गर्जती गजभार सैन्य संभार आल्हादी. The king is happy and eager to enter Ayodhya. The elephants are trumpeting with joy. The soldiers are delighted too. Drums and various musical instruments are all playing in his praise. The procession approaches the city. The sages are chanting the peace mantras. The poets are singing his praise. The brave soldiers are shouting like lions. The noise of chariots fills the air. Sage Vasishtha has been sent ahead to decorate the city and the palaces. Buntings and showers of colored water, arches and flags everywhere, flag posts at every house and streamers in the sky, shining charms and brilliant clothes, men and women decked in those. Saffron tilaks and flower garlands, bejeweled necklaces and belts, 9 jewels at their necks, what beauty to witness. Doorsteps adorned with water pots sacred, filled with flowers and grass and curd, rows of lamps on the footsteps placed, every house filled with joy. Big celebration at the king's palace. See how they erect arches and flagpoles. Shri Ram has been victorious, the one who is so brave. After completing the 5 volumes of this epic, and at the age of 66, Eknath entered into Samadhi. Later, his disciple Gauba completed the epic poem. This book by Saint Eknath became immensely popular. Even today, thousands in Maharashtra read it with reverence. The epic poem of Ramayana has been appearing in various regions of India in different forms for centuries. We saw one such version illuminated by Eknath's poetry today. Even if you know the story of Ramayana, it is worthwhile to read this book for the sheer pleasure of Eknath's poetic excellence. We hope you liked today's episode. Do tell us how you enjoyed it. Share it with your friends and subscribe to this channel to watch yet another episode next Friday. Until then, keep reading.